The two things in life that hold the greatest power are time and words. Once a moment passes or a word is spoken, neither can truly be taken back. They disappear into the past, but the effect they leave behind can last for years. Words can heal pain no one else can see, comfort someone who feels alone, and give a person confidence when they feel lost. Yet the same words can also create wounds that stay hidden for a long time. A single sentence can lift someone's spirit for an entire day, while another can echo in their mind again and again, like a wound that never fully closes. Many people believe men are simple, but that idea misses a deeper truth. Men often feel emotions intensely, even when they do not show them openly. From a young age, many are taught to stay strong, hide their struggles, and carry their burdens quietly. Because of that, they may not always explain what they are feeling, but deep inside, many men want the same thing: to be understood, respected, and emotionally safe. They are not always moved by perfection, attention, or constant effort. What creates a lasting connection is the feeling that someone sees who they truly are, not just what they do or provide. That is why words matter so much in relationships. They can become either a weapon or a lifeline. A careless comment can damage trust, while a sincere phrase can make someone feel valued for years. Think of a match in a dark forest. Used carelessly, it can destroy, but protected carefully, it can guide and warm. Words work the same way. They can reopen old wounds or help someone finally begin to heal. They can push people apart or bring them closer. So the real question is not how many words you speak, but what kind of energy they carry. Because the right words, spoken with honesty and warmth, can reach the hidden places where someone has been carrying pain alone. These experiences do not simply disappear. They do not vanish because time passes. They often remain hidden deep inside a person, sometimes for years and sometimes for an entire lifetime. But the opposite is also true. A sincere and meaningful word spoken at the right moment can completely change the way someone feels. It can restore confidence, bring comfort, and remind a man that his worth is not only measured by his responsibilities, his achievements, or everything he does for others. A man is more than his work, more than the problems he solves, more than the role he plays every day. Sometimes, all he needs is a reminder that someone notices the person behind all of those responsibilities. Throughout history, words have carried incredible power. They have inspired movements, healed broken relationships, changed the course of nations, and created love stories that people remember forever. So ask yourself, how are you using your words? Because soon, you will understand the kind of phrase that can reach a man's heart in a way that ordinary compliments never can. But first, you have to understand what many men are truly searching for, and the answer may surprise you. There is something people rarely talk about. Society often celebrates the image of the unstoppable man, the man who never breaks, never struggles, never asks for help, and always appears completely in control. But behind that image is a very different reality. Every man, no matter how confident or successful he appears, carries emotional needs that often remain unspoken. There is a part of him that wants to feel understood, appreciated, and valued. Sometimes, he may not even realize how deeply he longs for that connection. From childhood, many men hear the same messages repeatedly: be strong, don't cry, handle your problems alone, and never show weakness. Over time, these lessons teach them to hide their emotions instead of expressing them. They become skilled at saying they are fine even when they are struggling. They continue moving forward, carrying responsibilities, solving problems, and showing up for others even when they feel exhausted inside. Imagine a man walking through life wearing emotional armor. That armor protects him from rejection, disappointment, and judgment. Because people see the outside, they assume everything is okay. They mistake silence for peace and strength for a lack of pain. But deep inside, many men desire something incredibly simple. They want to feel seen. They want someone to recognize the effort they put in. Someone who can look beyond what they accomplish and say, "I notice how much you try. I see the effort you make, and it matters." Men are not searching for someone who creates more pressure in their lives. They are looking for peace. They want a connection where they can finally relax, breathe, and feel accepted. And one of the strongest ways to create that feeling is through your words. Have you ever noticed how some men constantly seek approval from their workplace, their family, or even strangers online? Many people assume it is about pride or ego, but often it is something deeper. It is emotional hunger. Many men spend their lives trying to prove they are enough because they rarely hear those words from others. They are expected to be strong without ever being reminded that they are appreciated. That silence creates distance. It builds emotional walls. It teaches them to stop revealing the parts of themselves that feel vulnerable. When someone feels invisible for too long, they eventually stop sharing their inner world. They protect themselves. They become guarded. But your words have the ability to change that. Your voice can become the place where he finally feels safe enough to lower those defenses. Your words can give him permission to release the weight he has been carrying silently. Sometimes, one honest sentence can reach deeper than years of silence. It can make a man feel valued, chosen, and important, not because of what he provides, but because of who he truly is. The most powerful words are not the ones filled with exaggeration or empty praise. They are the ones that make someone feel understood. Because being truly heard is much closer to being loved than most people realize. Compliments are easy. Anyone can say, "You look amazing," or "You're great." Those words may feel nice, but they often disappear quickly because they only touch the surface. The words that stay with someone are different. They reach deeper. They make a person stop and think, "This person actually understands me." That is the kind of connection that changes everything. It is like walking through a desert after a long journey without water. Someone offers you something sweet. It may taste good for a moment, but it does not satisfy the deeper need. That is the difference between simple praise and genuine understanding. Flattery feels good, but recognition creates connection. When a man feels deeply understood, you reach a part of him that many people never see. That is when he begins to open up. That is when trust grows naturally. That is when he feels safe enough to show the real version of himself. And now comes the question, what are the words that can create that feeling? Because the phrase you are about to discover is not about appearance, charm, or trying to impress someone. It is about emotional connection. When those words are spoken with honesty and genuine intention, something changes. He does not just hear them, he feels them. Many men move through life unnoticed. They wake up early, handle responsibilities, fight through challenges, manage stress, and continue pushing forward even when they are tired. And when the day ends, very few people truly stop and acknowledge everything they carry. People often say things like, "Good job," "You're doing well," or "I'm proud of you." But many of these words are too general. They sound nice, yet they fade quickly because they do not reach anything deeper. When someone truly looks at a man and says, "I see you. I notice your effort. I appreciate everything you do. I respect the person you are," something changes. Those words are not just compliments, they are recognition. They tell him that he is not invisible and that his struggles, sacrifices, and daily effort actually matter. Many men desire respect and appreciation on a deeper level than most people realize. Not because they do not value love, but because respect makes them feel understood and acknowledged. A woman can repeat the words, "I love you," every day, but if those words are surrounded by constant criticism, disappointment, or disrespect, they lose their emotional power. Love becomes difficult to feel when someone constantly feels judged, ignored, or unappreciated. A man may not always express it, But when his intentions are questioned, when his efforts are overlooked, or when everything he does is met with negativity, something inside him begins to shut down. But when he hears words like, "I respect what you do," "I see how hard you try," "I appreciate the effort you put in," those words create something powerful inside him. They give him confidence, motivation, and the feeling that he is valued not only for his achievements, but for the person he is. Respect is more than admiration. It is a form of honor, and when a man feels respected, he becomes more open, more present, more committed, and more willing to give his best. So move beyond empty compliments that sound pleasant but fail to touch the heart. Choose words that carry meaning and connect with the deeper part of a person. Because when a man hears, "I see you," it can feel like finally releasing a burden he has carried for a long time. It can feel like finding shade after standing beneath the heat for too long. Respect is one of the purest expressions of love. If love is the fire that keeps a connection alive, then respect is the air that allows that fire to continue burning. Without respect, even strong feelings can slowly weaken. A man can hear, "I love you," countless times, but if he feels constantly criticized, dismissed, or taken for granted, those words eventually become difficult to believe. Love without respect is like giving someone food but never offering them a place where they can rest. Something is provided, but a deeper need remains unmet. Do you truly respect him? Not only when he is successful, confident, and everything seems to be going well, but also when he is exhausted, uncertain, stressed, or struggling silently. Not only when he is calm and composed, but also when he shows his emotions. Because the truth is, men often need respect in the same way people deeply need to feel loved. Once you understand this, many things about emotional connection become much clearer. If you want to express that kind of respect in a way that reaches deeper than ordinary words, you need to understand something even more important first: vulnerability. The world often misunderstands vulnerability. Many people see it as weakness, but the reality is completely different. Vulnerability requires strength. It takes courage to show someone the parts of yourself that are unfinished, imperfect, and still healing. Imagine carrying heavy armor for years. At first, it protects you. It helps you survive difficult situations. But over time, that armor becomes exhausting. It becomes something you carry everywhere because life has taught you that you need protection. Maybe you were hurt before. Maybe you were judged when you opened up. Maybe your feelings were ignored or someone you trusted walked away. So you learned to protect yourself. Now imagine meeting someone else who is also wearing that same emotional armor. Both people are standing there, hidden behind their defenses, afraid to reveal too much. There is no real connection, no true closeness, just two people trying to appear strong while secretly protecting their wounds. But the moment one person removes even a small piece of that armor, everything begins to change. It is like lowering your guard in the middle of a battle. It sends a message that says, "I trust you enough to let you see the real me." And that simple act creates an invitation. Can you trust me enough to do the same? Something many people fail to understand is that men often need this invitation more than they show. From childhood, many men are taught the same lessons repeatedly. Stay strong, do not cry, do not show fear, handle everything yourself, and never let people see your weakness. Over time, they learn to hide their emotions. They lock away their softer side. They become experts at pretending they are okay, even when something inside them is hurting. But deep down, many men want someone who makes them feel safe enough to put that weight down, even if only for a moment. When a man sees you being vulnerable, when he sees that you are willing to be honest, gentle, and real, something shifts inside him. Your vulnerability communicates a message he may rarely hear. You do not have to be perfect with me. You do not have to hide. You can be yourself. You can finally lower your guard. That feeling of being accepted without having to perform or prove anything is something many people rarely experience. It feels like taking a deep breath after holding it for years. And there is a simple sentence that can reach even someone who has spent a lifetime hiding behind silence. I believe in you, and I am here no matter what. Not, I am here as long as everything goes perfectly. Not, I am here only when you are strong. Not, I am here only when you never struggle. Just, I am here no matter what. For someone who has carried pressure, responsibility, and expectations for years, those words can feel incredibly powerful. They can feel like relief after carrying a heavy burden for too long. They can create the difference between someone staying trapped in silence and someone finally feeling safe enough to open their heart. When a man truly feels those words, something begins to soften. The tension starts to fade. The walls slowly come down. Not because he has become weak, but because he finally feels safe. He feels understood. He feels accepted. Words have incredible power, but timing determines whether those words heal or create distance. You can have the perfect sentence and the purest intention, but if you say it when someone is overwhelmed, emotionally closed, or unable to receive it, the message may not reach them. Think about planting a seed. The seed itself may be beautiful, but if you place it into dry, damaged soil, it will struggle to grow. But when the ground is prepared, when it is open and ready, that same seed can become something beautiful. The seed did not change, the timing did. Communication works the same way. Sometimes you try to comfort someone while they are angry, and instead of calming them, it creates more frustration. Sometimes you try to encourage someone when they are drowning in doubt, but they cannot accept your words. It does not always mean your words were wrong. Sometimes the heart simply is not ready to receive them. Many people focus only on finding the right thing to say. But true emotional connection comes from understanding when to say it. When you begin noticing his emotions, his silence, his changes in mood, and the small signs that something is weighing on him, you start understanding him on a deeper level. You begin recognizing his emotional state without needing him to explain everything. When you can sense when he is tired, discouraged, frustrated, or carrying something heavy inside, your words become more meaningful. Your voice no longer feels like pressure. It feels like comfort. It feels like home. The right words spoken at the right moment can break down walls. They can create trust. They can turn a simple conversation into a moment of deep connection. So do not speak only because you feel the need to fill silence. Pay attention. Observe. Understand what he is feeling. Wait for the moment when your words will not become another burden, but instead become a source of peace. Then speak with patience, love, and awareness. Because your words do not simply fill empty space. They create the emotional environment between two people. They build the walls, doors, and windows of a relationship. And the way you use them can determine whether someone feels distant or finally feels at home. Maybe you have met someone who walks into a room and barely says anything, yet somehow his presence changes the entire atmosphere. It is not because he speaks loudly or tries to get attention. It is because there is a certain energy in the way he carries himself. And then there are people who speak constantly,